Hey there, Kobernusz here from Kobernusz.com, your trusted resource for all things health, wellness, and fitness. I'm an exercise physiologist coming to you from Roseau, Minnesota. This is Talk Therapy, a tool that I use to get past my analytical mind to think out loud and put it all out there. Here we go. Today's weather, 51 degrees and raining. That's your weather. Everybody loves to talk about weather. And that gets me past this guy right there, my ego. Right now I'm not holding on to the steering wheel, don't be alarmed. I'm not driving, that'd be crazy, right? Let me just freaking break down what happened to you right now. Because I need to deal with some shit. Like this is that ego going, no, we can't tell people, can't tell the world about your junk, right? Like that. But I can because it's just me. Literally talking to me right now. I went and picked up my son from the dentist and driving home because he has hockey, right? And we couldn't find an elbow pad, which infuriates me. There's nothing worse than looking for equipment that isn't mine, first of all. It's his responsibility. We tell him that. So I'm just pissed this whole time. Then I start calming down because I do the work on myself as a parent also, and then I get worked up, and then I'm pissed, and then I calm myself down, and then it's just this vicious cycle of shit. And I'm just like, dude, this is why you have a hockey bag. This is where you put your shit, in the hockey bag, not just thrown in the room. So we're looking, and this room's just a freaking catch-all shit right now. And so I'm moving everything around, and then I'm like, okay, so where else would it be? I keep asking the question, and he thought I was getting mad. I'm like, no, man, I'm not getting mad. Where else would this be? Where else would this elbow pad be? Because his elbow pads are this big, the size of a potato. A small one at that. So I'm like, where else would this be? I'm like, okay, you had it on Monday, picked him up on Monday. And then yesterday, nothing, right? So then today, let's get ready for hockey. We get on your shit, and here it is, a pile in this room. And I'm like, okay, so where between now and then would it be? And he's like, well, yesterday I kicked it in there because it was outside the door. And I'm like, okay, when were you going to mention that? Okay, so what door? Oh, that door that we're looking in for the room. I'm like, okay, so you kicked it in or slid it in or what did you do? And he's just like, well, I kicked it in, but I only kicked it so hard. I didn't kick it that hard, he said. So I'm like, okay, you did kick it hard. So everything that a 7-year-old says, just do the direct opposite. Turn that on them. And then not that they don't mean to. They just say something and then react to what your reaction is. So if you say something and get pissed, they automatically are going to shut down because they're like, oh, I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm really afraid right now. They're not going to figure that out of fear. So had I not went on my roller coaster ride of bullshit, those calming myself down moments helped him get to the fact that he kicked it in the door. And he said, oh, but I didn't kick it that hard. That was his fear talking, which is incorrect. We all do this. Every time we talk out of fear, we're wrong, right? Those, look it up. Psychology, look it up. If you go back on, witness statements, most of them are wrong. They just are. MIT has a course out there for psychology, and look at the stats. Your statements are wrong. The smallest details are wrong. But he did give me that small detail, and that was amazing. He's like, yeah, I kicked it in the door. Cool. So I went and looked past the treadmill way across the room. Of course, there it was. So had he not given me that small detail, we would still be sitting there, and actually we'd be putting all of his shit in one elbow pad in his bag going, dude, we're not going to hockey because you're not going on the ice with not all of your equipment. That's not how it works. We have to go buy a new one, new set, and then when we move the treadmill up or down or whatever, then we'd find it. Then you'd have 2 sets. But yeah, then I would make him pay for it also. As a parent, I would make him pay for that next set of elbow pads. But yeah, that has happened, and that was a massive. And then at the end, we're getting ready, and he starts crying again. Like, he cried a few times because, man, I was pissed, right? But like, then I came down and was like, okay, yes, I'm mad, but like, I don't need to react like that, right? So he cried again, and I'm like, okay, you're 7, dude. Like, I put way too much pressure on you for that one, and I apologize. And he's just like, I'm like, okay, you're all right, you forgive me. And go through the emotions, go through the steps of just, words are damaging, man. Words are damaging if you let them. Words can also empower if you let them. So I took the empower words and just said, what do we learn from this? I'm going to use my bag. Okay? And then when you come home from hockey practice and you're just exhausted, and all of us are exhausted from the day or whatever it is, you're going to do what with your stuff? I'm going to put it in my bag. Okay? So then when you yell at us because we say put it in the bag, what are you going to do? I'm going to put it in my bag. Okay. Like, awesome. And then I recognized the fact that he gave the detail. It was him. He remembered that. So he lost it, right? But he also remembered where it was, kind of. And for a 7-year-old, that's a big deal. And not I'm not saying my kid's like the most brilliant kid in ever. Like, no. Like, as parents, we all think our children are like the best no matter what. But let's be real here. We're human. So that's what it is. That was a big one. I enjoyed that. As much as I didn't enjoy it, like, put your shit away, I did enjoy it. Because I had enough wherewithal to, like, stop before I said something and did something that I would regret for the rest of my life. Not that I would ever intentionally hurt my children, but we don't ever intentionally hurt them. We don't. Some people do, and fuck those people. And that's not even nice. Like, somebody did that to them. But really, like, we don't ever intentionally do it. Having the cognitive wherewithal to stop yourself in those tracks and stop going through that spin cycle of bullshit that you're going to do over and over and over again until you stop it. And then he might or might not use that hockey bag. And my expectation is what I have for me and him. That's on me, not on him. He's 7. Maybe someday he'll understand. Maybe he won't. And that's just how I think every day. That's just what I've been really working on lately. Is like, it's called Conscious Parenting by Dr. Sh1t, if you're looking for a solid resource on some work to do up here as far as what to do, right? As far as maybe how to parent. Nobody knows how to parent. And that's what she says too. Sh1t, right? Oprah's psychologist. Like, forget Oprah, forget whatever, right? Doesn't matter. But like, that's who she is. So look her up, Sh1t. Shafli. Dr. Sh1t. Yeah. So, expectations and breaking the cycle of bullshit, I guess. That was cool. I'm good with it. I'm glad that happened. Because maybe someday he might trust me enough in his life when he's an adult to tell me whatever is going on in his life. Because I know at 7, I can ruin that right now. So I'm glad that it went down like that. So thank you, Cobra Nation, for being here. I appreciate you so much. I love you guys. Yeah. Hop on my newsletter if you're not on my newsletter, jedkobernusz.com/newsletter. Put your name and email in, and then don't forget to hit that confirmation email. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Like, comment, share, all those fun buttons. I appreciate you. And as always, if you're willing to change from the neck up, then you will change from the neck down. I believe in you. Now it's your turn to start believing in yourself. Stay safe out there. Be blessed. Bye for now.